Okay, so we've dealt with heading blocks, paragraph blocks. What we want to do now is use a different kind of block. We want to choose a list block. Now there's a couple of ways we can do that. What I'd like to do is I'd like to click below all of the text that we have on our document. So we're going to scroll all the way down to the bottom of the page and just click. When you click into your document, you'll see that there's this little floating plus sign. This is a plus sign that allows you to add a block of a particular type. So we're going to click on the plus sign, and it's going to show us some of the more commonly used blocks that we can use. Now, paragraph and heading are there. You'll see there's also image, gallery, and the one that I want to focus on is the one called list. Now, if you don't see list in your little pop-up here, what you can do is actually you can type the name of the block type that you want. So I'm going to type in list. Okay, I'm going to type in list, and there's my list type block. So I'm going to click list, and you can see what a list is. A list is a bulleted or numbered list. So let's make sure we can list some items. So let's just list a couple of items. So we're going to go red, press enter, orange, press enter, yellow, press enter, green, blue, violet. So we just do the colors of the rainbow. So we have a list. Very straightforward. This is an unordered or bulleted list. And it's a text block, so it shares a lot of the same properties as we have with that we have with all of the other paragraph blocks, such as the color of the text in the background and the typography, all of the things that we can change usually about a paragraph or a heading, then we can change also about a list. So we have a list block. To end the list, I'm just going to press enter once, and again, that'll end the list. So I have a list block right here. So this one block, okay, it contains all of the items in the list. If I just move on to this little floating toolbar, you see this move up and down arrow? You can see the borders of the block when I do that. And you can see also that this is the symbol for a list block. Also over here, it says it's a list block. So what can I do with a list block? Well, there's not very much in terms of the floating toolbar. I've mentioned you can change all of this stuff with the color and the typography. But list blocks, you can be two types. You can be either a ordered list or an unordered list. An unordered list is where the order of the items doesn't really matter, and that's when you use a bullet. And the other way you can do it is convert to an ordered list. So if I convert it to an ordered list, you can see that it's numbered rather than in bullet form. So now I have a numbered list. So I can switch back and forth between bulleted and numbered, and as you noticed, it affects the entire object. So it affects the entire list when I switch it from one to the other. There's no real way to have a mixed list, and there would be no point in having a mixed list. Okay? So you want to make sure that you're using the right list type, either ordered or unordered, for your list type. So some of the things you can do with a list type, as soon as you convert it to a numbered list, you can actually start the numbering at a certain value, and you can also reverse the list order. So if you wanted to do a top-down reverse countdown, you could just click reverse numbering, and it will count backwards down from the top level to the lowest level. You can turn the reverse numbering off. You can also change the number where you want the list to start at. By default, it starts at 1, but if I wanted to start my list at 9, I could do that. You can see that the list starts at the number that I've chosen. If you leave it blank, it'll just start at the automatic number 1. So you can reverse the list order when you have a numbered list. And with a numbered list, the other thing you can do is you can have, or this is also true of a bulleted list, you can have sub-items. So we've done this exercise before a long time ago in Word. So let's create some sub-items. So I'm going to go to the end of the one red, press enter, and then I'm going to use the little floating toolbar, and here's my increase or indent list item. So I'm going to indent the list item. So now I have a sub-item of red. So apples are red, and stop signs are red, and some things that are orange. I'm going to press enter, and then I'm going to use the floating toolbar to increase the indent. Things that are orange, traffic cones, oranges, and things that are yellow. Use the little floating toolbar to increase the list indent. So you can see you can have a multi-level list where you have sub-items of the list. So that's something you can do with that. You can also convert it back to an unordered list. Okay, but remember, it's only going to affect the current list item that you're on, so where your mouse is. Okay, so you can switch each sub-list from a ordered list to a numbered list, or if you click on the top level item, you can switch the entire thing, the outside level. So you're affecting all of the items that are at that level. Okay, so you'll notice when I switch between a numbered or bulleted list, it's affecting everything at that level. For sublists, I have to manually change them. Okay, I have to manually change them by clicking on the sub item and then using my floating toolbar to change the type of list. Okay, but if you want to go from one to the other, it's very straightforward. Make sure I update my changes. Don't forget to click that update button periodically to make sure your changes are being saved.